Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is Game God Fluent, bringing you episode 25 of Let's Play Loren, the Amazon Princess, blindly. Hope you guys are doing well. I saved it as 25 and 26, but it was actually 24, so for episode 25, we could head to the end game right now. But we're going to go ahead and camp and do some companion side quests. So let's get to it. Since Saren had discovered the depths of his feelings for Mirth, he had been tortured with them. He knew Mirth enjoyed his company, and the way she looked at him was so different from anyone else. He needed to tell Mirth his feelings. He needed her, period. Which is weird because we're actually more affectionate with Loren, but... So he spent all of his spare time trying to find the best romantic gesture he could think of. He didn't want to just give her something small this time. She needed so much more to light her up in this dark time. His hunt for an unrivaled beauty in the forest kept him occupied, but in the end it paid off dearly. He found something he never thought he would, but it was perfect. He had to show Mirth immediately and then confess to her how he felt. Mirth smiled at him when he approached her in her special way that was just for him. There's something, it's in the forest. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I just wanted to show you something I found. Would you come with me? Yes, of course. Anything for you. Saren held out his hand to her. She looked down at it and bashfully reached out her own to grasp it. They stood for a moment just holding each other's hands and their cheeks turning rosy. Well, where is it? Right, just this way. He led her into the forest and weaved through the trees to the special spot he had discovered just for her. Before they arrived, he stopped and turned to her. Now you must close your eyes. Really? Yes, really. She giggled and composed herself, placing her hand over her eyes. Very well, I trust you completely. Lead me. Saren swallowed in anticipation. He tugged on her soft hand and walked backwards to keep an eye on her. Okay. He stopped and walked behind her to not obstruct her view. You can look now. Mirth pulled her hand from her face and was instantly struck. Her jaw dropped. Before her was a clearing filled with almost 100 glowing flowers, her favorite flower. Their combined luminescence saturated the air in a dreamy haze. It reflected on Mirth's skin and in her eyes, turning her into what could only be described as a goddess. The sight of the flowers took her breath away. In all her days in the forest, she had never seen something like this. Her mouth hung open as she took in the unbelievable image. Saren walked up beside her to bask in her expression instead. Her smile made his chest bind up tightly as if he couldn't breathe either. How did you... I found them here. The wild brush must have kept the animals from eating them, and I really wanted to share it with you. Mirth turned to him with the sweetest smile he had ever seen. She slid her arms around his neck and pressed into him with a melodic laugh. Alright, she's at full affection. It's so beautiful, Saren. I cannot believe it. He laughed too, wrapping his arms around her to squeeze her in return. His hands moved to her back and pressed her into him. Her laughter died down as she pulled back to look at him. Their faces were close as their eyes danced. They were still intertwined, and the thought of letting go of each other was the furthest thing from their minds. Mirth's hand lifted, and her fingertips feathered Saren's cheek. I see the forest in your eyes. Saren felt her words fall against his lips. He shivered with a well-known desire. Evergreen and golden brown. Life, warmth. Home. Her eyelids slowly lowered and the feel of her face grew hotter. Saren could only hear the rapid beat of his own heart. His hand slid up her back, over her shoulder and to her jaw to bring her head towards him. He leaned down and she fell forwards. The heat of their breath spilled between them. Their lips parted. And then he felt resistance. Her body locked up and she was no longer moving towards him. He flashed open his eyes. He saw Mirth suddenly frowning. She completely broke away, taking several steps to part them. Saren couldn't even comprehend what was happening anymore. I need to be back at camp now. She whispered her excuse and walked through the trees away from him. She was in his arms just a moment ago. It felt so right. It felt perfect. What had he done wrong? He learned about a whole new level of torture as he was forced to accept the reality of what just happened. All right, so what I think happened is that since I romanced Mirth after Loren, I think Mirth is the one that is counting, so to speak, and it's overriding like Loren's potential romance. But also, I think there's another possibility that Loren's romance may not blossom until chapter 4, but I probably not. It's probably going to romance Mirth now. Saren walked up to Loren and stood by her side next to the fire. Loren tilted her head slightly in recognition. What? Saren had grown used to standing beside Loren like her personal servant, yet even as her second in command, he still found his way to her side. I'm sorry? You came over to me for no reason? Her words were practically bitter, and Saren couldn't understand why. She had never questioned his habit of keeping near her before. Yes, why do you ask? We are not friends. Saren choked back a reaction. He had never once thought they were, or that they weren't. Why was Loren so sensitive to their relationship all of a sudden? Did she mean to remind him that he was her servant? But you're better off wasting your spare time with someone who's capable of being fun to be around. Saren relaxed, but was flooded with pity. Loren, go, spend your time with someone else. I allow you. She turned and finally flashed him a pair of strict eyes, but even that could not mask the waver in her voice. No, thank you. Loren winced, not expecting that response. She wasn't sure how to handle this scenario at all. Fine, waste your free time. It's not mine, so I don't care. She turned back to the fire and crossed her arms. They were silent and could only hear each other's breathing mixed with the flicker of the flames. Saren tried to make sense of Loren in the following quiet. She was trying to push him away, but saying it was for his own benefit. Why would he not want to spend time with Loren? Why did she think she was incapable of being fun? Loren was a remarkable person to stand in battle with, and that was suddenly the strongest memory that Saren had while staring at her back. In battle, she was a masterful artist with a blade. It was almost as if she was dancing. It was clear that Loren took combat very seriously, and Saren realized that he did too when he was with her. Fighting side by side was the easiest and most rewarding combat he had partaken in, and after the battle, the way Loren would look over at him, lock eyes, and give him a nod, it was why he was standing next to her at that moment. When they were fighting together, they were friends. They had entire conversations and debates just by trading glances in the heat of battle. Loren was not a princess, and he was not a servant. And that mentality was now leaking into reality. But why couldn't it be reality? Talk about weather, talk about war. Talk about weather. Good weather today. Loren stiffened from his voice. She did not expect to be spoken to, especially so casually. It was frivolous, too, practically insulting to engage in such banter with the princess of the Amazons. She heard the sky crack, and she looked up to see dark clouds rumbling overhead. It was about to rain. She put her hands on her hips and turned around to give Saren a condescending look. Saren had just realized the absurdity of what he said, trying too hard to instigate a conversation to realize how mistaken the statement was. Slowly, he cracked a smile. A stray drop from the sky landed on his cheek, and he broke. Saren started laughing loudly, wiping the rain away. The sound caused Loren's stern face to melt away and her chest to shake. Aww. She realized soon that she was laughing too. The rain started to get heavier, and they stood together, laughing in the middle of it, just laughing. After they were both drenched, they locked eyes almost like they do after each battle. Loren's eyes bounced once, and then looked away with a thinning smile. Maybe it was a bit of good weather after all. Oh, wow. So we're still going with Loren, I guess. I'd rather go with Loren. Saren? Mistress? Loren winced from being addressed as Saren's owner yet again. I am not your mistress anymore. I am your commander. Oh, I'm sorry. It is a habit. Well, I'm not. We're companions, aren't we? I am here to serve you, Majesty. Loren frowned deeper. Sometimes you call me Loren. Saren blinked. More silence. Loren? Loren perked up from the sound of her name across his lips. He had said it so tenderly. Saren watched Loren stare at him, making him feel like he had just uttered a magician's chant. Was there something you needed from me? Loren crossed her arms to mask the fact that she had completely forgotten why she approached Saren. In fact, she could remember all the steps she took to walk up to him, but at no point did she have an agenda in mind. You asked to see me. Did I? I don't recall. You must have. I didn't come to see you for no reason. I was about to scout the perimeter like I do at this time every day. Perhaps you came to join me? Join? I suppose having me along would benefit you. Loren agreed to join Saren on his walk around the area. What Loren didn't know was that he had adopted the routine ever since she was poisoned. Loren's affection increased again. Why do the Amazons have slaves? If they are so capable, why need anyone else to do work? Loren glared at Saren for insinuating a flaw in her culture. Amazons are capable women, but they cannot be everywhere at once. If we were infinite in number, only Amazons would inherit this world. But as it stands, only half of our children are so made. I was born of an Amazon mother, but does that not make me an Amazon? Of course not. You are a man. Saren could not help but wince. That does not seem fair. Men are inferior. I don't see what's unfair about it. It is natural. How am I inferior? I don't understand. Because... Her brow deepened as she searched in her past for an answer. My mouth is getting pretty dry. Because that's how it's always been. Men must be weaker, less intelligent, and better suited for slavery than women. That must be it. Joking. I don't think anyone is suited for slavery. That's not really anyone's first choice in life. Haven't you seen the world when it's in the hands of men? A complete mess. The Citadel's how it should be. Well, for the people who benefit from it, no slave I've met thinks it's the way his life should be. And if roles were reversed, wouldn't you feel the same? Loren's lips twitched. She could not face Saren any longer and rushed away from him. He hoped that his words were not ignored, and by how unnerved she looked, he doubted that they were. The Citadel was so weak. The plague crippled us. Loren looked completely unfocused. Ma'am? The Amazons have always been prepared for war. We've always been ready and willing, and strong. You're worried about your people. Of course I am worried. I'm relying on my sisters to dictate the tide of the war. You sound like a real Amazon leader now. Excuse me? I didn't before? I mean, now you're concerned about the welfare of your people. It's my fault that I let this happen. I should have been there. I could have stopped whatever poisoned us. I could have killed them right then. Is this a time to be forceful? Probably not. It's not your fault, Loren. Don't blame yourself. I can if I want to. You would have gotten ill like your sisters if you had been there. Instead, you are healthy so that you may help them. Loren looked away, conceding that she would have gotten sick if she was at the Citadel, but secretly believing that she would have killed the rats responsible before they poisoned anyone. I never did talk to Loren after we did that big camp meeting. I stopped at Mesfit. Saren, come here. Yes, ma'am? It has come to my attention that I will be inheriting my mother's throne much sooner than I anticipated. I believe you are ready, Your Highness. Do not patronize me. If I claim the throne at this moment, I would be the youngest queen in our history. I found my mother so that she would continue her reign, not... Loren sighed and rubbed her temples. What I meant to ask you was your help in this matter. My mother has requested that I perform the Trial of Queens as soon as possible. Trial of Queens? What is that? You do not know? Good, I was unaware of it as well. It's reserved only for princesses who inherit their mother's thrones, rather than dethroning the queen in a duel. Amazon queens must earn the favor of their people through great feats, so a trial was invented to test our strength. There is a reliquary within the mountain under the Citadel. I must fight my way through the caverns to prove my worthiness. How might I help you with this, if this is your trial? I'm allowed a servant. I choose you. I'm honored, Your Majesty. I don't know what to expect in the underbelly of the Citadel, so do not consider it an honor yet. We should perform this task as soon as we can make route to the Citadel. All right, Loren's personal quest. I think that's everybody's personal quest. Apollomesho, Dora, Draco, Ramus, Loren. Who's after Loren? Karen. Mirth. We don't have Ray's personal quest. And we don't have Chombera's, and we don't have Misfits. Let's talk to Ray. Chombera? Chombera, what do you think you'll do when this is all over? Anything I wanted to. Why, in a free world, I could set up shop in Everburn itself. Or perhaps start a bakery in Horus. Maybe I could be a slave in the Citadel next to you. So this is a joke to you? Of course that's a joke. What I have been wanting to do since you snatched me from the swamps, I've wanted to go back to my hut. Chombera shifted and looked Saren dead in the eye. Why do you want to know? Friendly? Don't you think that after all the time we spent together, I may care about what happens to you next? Chombera shrugs and dismisses him. Save your worry. I know how to take care of myself. Always have, always will. Doesn't matter anyway. You'll still be Loren's toy, and she'll shelve you right back into the Citadel. Our futures don't overlap. Chombera walks away after that, leaving Saren to hopelessly find a response to that, but can't find one. Misfit looked away. Okay, so it is time. Actually, we should go save the scouts from Chizulu ruins. Go ahead and save. Let's do this next. Oh, wait. Oh, no, the castle of Enmar. I'm sorry. The castle by the sea that had once looked abandoned now looked like it had been lived in for ages. Windows were alight, the grounds were well kept, and the architecture had been repaired. The infamous castle of Enmar has been reoccupied. I don't understand. There ain't supposed to be any lords here. Why not? The people of this land were once massacred, and in their death, their bitterness cursed this land. No crops will grow, no good animal will tread it, and caravans that pass through are never seen again. Every attempt to live in the castle has ended with the untimely death of its inhabitants. It's haunted. It's plagued with vampires. This isn't the first time the Amazons have had to get rid of them. The souls of the murdered continue to find no rest. May peace finally come to those who lost their lives here. They're already at peace. You're just being a party crasher now. Let's hurry. They have our Amazon sisters. They closed in on the sinister castle. The sky darkened and the wind stopped. I don't like it here. Falling dust pulled their attention to the top of an archway. High above them, they saw winged grotesques crackling to life as if they had not moved in hundreds of years. Gargoyles protecting the castle from intruders. Prepare yourselves. That's not all. More protectors of the castle emerged. This time it was a pack of inferno hounds. Their growls weren't warnings, but signals of their attacks. Watch out! The hounds and the gargoyles descended upon the group almost at the same time. Okay, Karen is not all that decked out, but I think we're gonna go with her. Let's save, just keep saving. Alright, let's give it a shot. Gargoyles, the hellhounds have lots of HP. Gargoyles are pretty hardy. Gargoyle gaze. Paralyze. Oh, we might not win this one. Karen. Just go ahead and use a potion on Mirth. We still don't have great potions. Oh, and she didn't lose her paralyzation from that. Dang. Oh, this is rough. This is rough. Draco. Wow. They do not like air damage. Loren, defend. Mirth can kill the top two. Slow the Hellhounds. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Kill 2. Whirlwind 2. Not bad damage. Loren has top tier defense. Mirth not so much. Oof. And we're gonna get another round of this, and it's not looking good. Loren, of course, hanging tough. Good. Ice, probably. Let's go ahead and bring back Mirth. Loren. Kill. Oh, Mirth is going down again. Yikes. Mirth, can we get a heal? Loren.
Keep up next time.
Draco. Nice. It was rough though. 2 Aquamarines, 121 gold. Lots of XP. The gargoyles crumbled into lifeless rubble. Loren swiped her blade masterfully at the final hound in her way. Why won't you die? The hound was still standing its ground against all odds. I know those eyes. That beast is fighting for someone besides itself. Karen had to close her eyes suddenly to keep from seeing Loren's blade make its final strike. It's dead now. Some looked down on the hound as if they regretted that it had to die after fighting so valiantly. Others, such as Loren, thought nothing of it. But in the silence, they all heard the whimpering of a hound. They froze and turned back around. An inferno hound that they had all thought long dead whimpered louder and stood up. It clawed its way over to the resisting hound that Loren had just skewered. It was almost impossible not to be moved by how the beast sniffed and whimpered over the dead hound's body, as if it was capable of feelings like them. The mourning hound then howled loudly up into the sky, the voices of each of its heads creating a piercing symphony. That poor thing. Did we kill it, sweetie? No, it is just a juvenile. His parent. Karen stepped toward the hound, but Loren stopped her. Mother! Would you rather give it the quick death it deserves? Kill it? After we come in here and kill its mommy, our apology is to kill it? Loren was tight-lipped as Draco stormed past Karen. Draco! The hound stopped howling and jumped back, growling at Draco. Dummy, come back here! I can snipe it from here, no worries. Good doggy, I won't hurt you. Be careful. Draco pulled out meat from inside of his robes and tossed it at the growling hound. It stopped and sniffed it suspiciously, and then it licked it once, twice. See, no harm done. I'm a nice one. The Inferno Hound ripped at the meat with all 3 of its heads, sharing it equally amongst the mouths. When it was done, it pounced Draco. Everyone gasped. Saren ran up with his blade drawn, with Loren not far behind. They quickly realized that the hound was not attacking Draco, however, only sniffing him for more food. Whoa, not there. That tickles. What are you doing? I think I have a new pet. An Inferno Hound, a pet? Why not? Because he'll eat you in your sleep? They are the demon's allies. The hound didn't attack or growl at anyone. Its 3 sets of eyes were stuck on Draco. Nah, he's fine. I cannot find it in me to kill this hound's child. We should let it live. Fine, but we're not keeping it. It is no one's pet. Entertaining an Inferno Hound is only asking for trouble. You're my little trouble, aren't you? Aren't you? Loren crinkled her nose. Saren, you tell him to get rid of it. Keep the hound. Oh my gosh, Trouble is a character. Oh, that's awesome. We get a freaking hellhound. Look at these stats. They're insane. And he is a warrior. Hellhounds are generally hostile, wild creatures, even if tales say of some barbarian that managed to domesticate them, using them as watchdogs or as valuable companions during battle. Wow, fire breath. 250% base attack and 50% chance of causing burn. Poison fangs. Target needs to be staggered. Hits 2 times, double attack. 70% accuracy, 110% damage, and 30% chance of poisoning. And that goes up. Armor skin. Target skin becomes tough as armor, giving a 25% bonus, which goes to 75%. Menacing growl. Pushes the enemy front row to the back. Oh, without even having to be staggered. Killer Instinct. The Hellhound Killer Instinct increases his attack and speed by 10% for 3 turns. Nice. Let's get Menacing Growl 1. And then chance to cause the scared condition, which is not that necessary. Let's go ahead and get Fire Breath 2. And Fire Breath 3, which is crazy. How many enemies? Single target. We should go skill, strength, will, skill, will, strength, skill, will, strength, skill, will, skill, will, strength, skill, will, skill, will, strength, skill, strength. 4 points left. It's level 15. Wow, okay. I don't really care so much about the scared condition. Let's go ahead and get maximum hit points increased by 15%. Increased by 20% and 25%. Let's get Poison Fangs 1. Let's get Killer Instinct 1. And let's get Killer Instinct 2. Cool. I have no problem with Draco keeping it as a pet. What? Wonderful. Another creature saved from the darkness. Achieved unlocked. Animalist. Adopt trouble. Mirth approached the dog and pet its middle head. Its tail began to wag and the other heads pushed the middle out of the way, fighting for Mirth's attention. We don't need dead weight. If that much recognized Draco as its new owner, you won't have to worry about that. It'll fight alongside us. We are its new pack. I'll kill it if it gets out of line, the same as you, Draco. Draco waited for Loren to leave to bend down to whisper to the hound. Don't worry, Trouble. She's all bark. Draco led the hound inside the castle walls and it obediently followed. Trouble became a loyal servant for Loren and her friends. It needed a pack to survive, and Draco was willing to adopt it. Though it was a wild beast that needed domestication in many aspects, its untamed spirit turned it into a formidable ally in the battlefield. They approached the entrance to the castle and saw that it was covered in cobwebs and more dusty gargoyles. The tall windows, however, were lit as if the castle was lived in. Loren took out her sword and moved towards the giant doors. Do not storm the front. They will be expecting that. We are stronger, and it is the easiest way. Yes, why not? There isn't a fight too difficult for me. Have you ever met a vampire? Let's not be foolhardy. They have dark magic on their side. Saren, what do you think? Probably find another way. Vampires are too strong and too clever for us to play by their own game. We need to play by our rules. Then we find another way inside. What do you figure? I remember my mother spoke of a secret passageway. Perhaps there is one on the perimeter. I'll begin scouting. They all carefully approached the castle and inspected the exterior for hidden doors. They found a cellar door, and with a quick bash of Rames's axe, the lock was history. The cellar door opened with a dusty creak. I do not know where this leads or what will be down there. Everyone should remain vigilant. They walked down into the darkness in a single file. Cool, new art. The group found themselves in more of a cave than a room. This must be a passageway to the catacombs under Inmar. Can we get to the castle from here? I am certain of it. I suspect the caves form a labyrinth of twists and turns that will be infested with the undead. We should consider splitting up into 2 parties to double our chances of finding a way into the castle. I will attempt to use my divination to show us the path, so I will lead one group. And I will use my own powers to lead the second group. Very well. I will lead one of the 2 teams while Saren will lead the other. Saren, decide who will join you. I trust your decision. You can now select who will be in your group between Mirth and Apollomesho. The other one won't be available for the whole exploration, so choose wisely. Sorry, Apollomesho. Now select the 6 party members that will be part of your group. Okay, there's our Hellhound. Now, are these others going to form another group? Because our group here is going to be really freaking powerful. And this one maybe not so much. The group split and took opposing tunnels to find a hidden passage into the castle. They walked deep into the catacombs. A small hole appeared on the side of the tunnel. Peering into it, it revealed another passageway on the other side. I wonder where this goes. My senses tell me it is important. Squeeze through hole. We should inspect it. Saren squeezed himself through the tight opening and rolled out on the other side. There was a steep gradient and he tumbled right down it. But he then stood up and looked around. There was a lit torch across the cavern. I think someone has been here recently. We should definitely go this way. There's a drop-off, so be careful. Okay, we'll come through. After some trouble, they eventually all managed to weasel their way through. Crunching sounds stopped the party in their tracks. Should we go any further? There is likely monsters ahead. Continue towards the noise. Saren crept forward and shined the light ahead. It revealed zombies pawing at a doorway of some sort. They're trying to get in a doorway. If they sense food on the other side, then that means it could lead to the castle. The zombies stopped and looked over at Saren and the party. They abandoned the door and shambled forward. Review your party setup. Oh, that's weird. At least we get a full heal. Looks like. Alright. Just some... Oh, dang. Just some zombies. Nothing we can't handle. We don't have a lot. Well, we do have a lot of multiple target attacks, but go ahead and demon form. Mirth can go ahead and 10% chance of tired, burned. Let's try to slow them. And Draco could hit them with a bomb. Let's go with tired. Poison, but we should be able to finish the fight before the poison takes too much effect. Now, Claw 3. Beautiful. What's your attack? 32 to 37. Bong bong. Oof. Whirlwind action. Mirth. Damage them. go. Aquamarine agate, 41 gold. Achievement skillful, reach 50 skill. Huh. With the zombies dead, they now had access to the door. It was just a stray door frame in the middle of another tunnel, but the zombies' interest in it was more than enough reason to investigate. The sound of water could be heard from an intersecting pathway. What is that? Is that the ocean? I sincerely hope not. Follow the sound. Against his better judgment, Saren decided they should at least inspect where the sound was coming from. They walked into a man-made room and saw water leaking from the ceiling. It was coming from a grate cut into the stone. Not the ocean, sewage. What? Ew, don't let it touch me. This is a good find, however bad it smells. We know we're near the interior of the castle. They found a passage that led in the direction of where the water was coming from, and they knew they were getting closer to their escape. Their combined skills brought them success. They had successfully navigated the Enmar catacombs and wound up at what could only be a direct entrance into the castle. Look, we've discovered a way. This will definitely take us inside of the castle. We are there, finally. We should be careful. We will deal with much worse enemies inside. I will use telepathy to notify Apollomesho that we have located the exit. Saren nodded and stepped up the ladder, but suddenly something caught his attention. They traveled with the aid of their magic to light their way. The tunnel expanded and poured out into an eerie room. Bones and the remnants of dark rituals were scattered around. This evil place. We should have been very near an entrance into the castle. Or very far. Everyone jumped from hearing the eerie voice. They saw no one. Come out, whoever you are. A raven swooped down from the ceiling and landed on a rotting table in front of them. Loren watched the bird with much caution. Another shapeshifter? A raven, how cliché. Are you friend or foe? The raven only sat on the table, looking around the room with no discretion. Loren slowly approached it with her hands on her swords. Kill it while it's in a weak form. I ask that you do not. The same voice from before was now it's a woman. Was now behind them. They turned to see a very old woman leaning against a staff, as if it was the only thing keeping her standing. Here's my dearest companion. Who are you? Do you have our Amazon sisters? The old woman smiled, revealing she had no teeth. I am friend, not foe. Those that can speak sometimes call me Mother Morte. Oh, and the skull, Planescape Torment? Oh, that's awesome. This is a reference to Planescape Torment. I have no Amazons in my collection. They are not with me. They looked around the room and realized that she considered the pile of bones to be hers. What kind of twisted work are you doing down here? The old woman laughed a dry laugh, as if the dust would billow from her. I am proud of my work. Listen to me long enough and you will see its beauty too. Why should we give an ear to someone who plays with dark magic? We should strike you down. Chambera crossed her arms and rolled her eyes. Dark? I've heard of the term before. Dark, yes. They call this dark magic. She has gone senile. Can we kill her now? Your respect for your elders is staggering. She's a bone witch. She's not worth any respect. You may regret slaying me. I predict you'll regret it very much. Everyone looked at each other. Loren stepped forward. Do you know where my people are? Can you get us there? I do. I can. But I speak of something much greater. You are losing grip upon your world above. The kings of other realms have come to claim it. It will be theirs if you let them. Kings of other realms? Do you speak of the Death Knights? Mother Mort smiled and wheezed. What names this company tells me. It is almost as amusing as my own name. Yes, your Death Knights. There is more than you know. More? There are more Death Knights in Erevorn? No. They gasped and went silent. One Death Knight was enough to bring their entire world to ruin, but another? How could we have not known? You are mistaken. He is a child king. He is fresh and new, but do not underestimate him. He will take as easily as the king in Everburn. You beings are your own worst enemy. You think the creatures of the dark are your culprits for all world problems? No, no. Hear this woman. I cannot believe this. Cultists have undone hundreds of years of work to keep the Death Knights sealed away. They've invited their own destruction. You are starting to see the world from the eyes below. You can see why I trust to bones and not to flesh. Flesh is the true evil. Quiet, necromancer. Loren was demanding, but a small shake in her sword arm revealed that the idea of another Death Knight in the world scared her. What else do you know of this Death Knight? I can send the king home. He'll go on his way and disappear. The world would be none the wiser. But how? We're building a huge army just for one of them. You will not need an army for this king. He struggles to find allies in the wastes, and he will find little. The other king has already reaped that field. You need my knowledge of his home to send him there. I can bend death to your advantage. How can we trust you? What do you gain from all this? Yeah, aren't you all undead folk buddies? We're kindred, but the kings must always be feared. They're blind and will attack all. But it is good for me that some can still tell friend from foe. Mother Mort smiled at Loren. We need each other to defeat him, I think. You will not be able to defeat him on your own. What are your terms? Terms? The death of the king. What other terms are there? What's the catch? You are very peculiar people. You must want something. Tell us now. Very well, my dear Raven, this company is so taxing. When you have killed the king, he will give you a gift. I will require it. What kind of gift? What if he doesn't give us one? He will bestow something very powerful onto you, I promise, if you follow my specific instructions. In return for the gift, I will give you command of my companions to take down the king in Everburn, along with the safety of your world. So, now that you have your frivolous terms, do you accept them? I guess we accept them. If you can help us defeat the roaming Death Knight, we will work with you obediently. The living may not be such bad company after all. Undead pact, find and kill the Death Knight that's hiding in the orcish wastes for Mother Mort. Now that you're our friend, the undead won't attack us anymore, right? All the ones under my command. Very well. I will tell them not to bother you. And the others? I'm not responsible for every walking corpse in the realm, unfortunately. You must still fend for yourselves in the wilderness. Though you have more than enough travelers with you, you should let a zombie win a fight or two. They're usually quite hungry, and it's only polite. No, thank you. We've accepted. Now tell us everything you know. Your Death Knight is hiding in the land of the orcs. His summoners seek to please him, but they won't. Go to the city of the orcs. They will take you to him. When you are near to the king, call upon me, and I will guide you. Act quickly and move to kill. He'll know in your eyes what you plan to do. And if we don't call upon you, what if we decide to kill the Death Knight on our own? I would enjoy watching you try. I'm sure it would be very amusing indeed. Mother Mort cackled. We're done here. Show us the way into the castle. The necromancer weighed Loren's threat and decided it was worth submitting to. My legs are not what they used to be, but if I must... Mother Mort showed the group the entrance into the castle. The way was covered in cobwebs. You'll find my fallen friends above. They are not very kind to trespassers, but I'm sure that's no concern of yours. Loren said nothing and pushed past the old woman. Karen was close behind. Their Amazon sisters could not wait any longer. Wow, this is so freaking cool. Saren stepped into the dusty castle interior. Everything looked as if it hadn't been touched in ages, but the house clearly looked lived in from the outside. Quiet your voices. They walked through the rooms as silently as they could, scanning for any sign of the captured Amazons. After searching everywhere, they were left with the high tower. Entering the tower, they could only ascend a staircase. They climbed up and up. At the top, they ran into a furnished room. You are a persistent bunch. Who? From a chair rose a dapper man. From his pale skin, they could easily recognize him as a vampire. I am Zachary Enmar, lord of this castle. You've really come a long way, but you are still utterly uninvited. I would ask you to leave, but as it is, you won't be leaving. I'm truly sorry. You have our sisters captive. We've come to free them and to send you back to your grave. Amazons, crude bunch you are. You die. Loren took out her swords, but the vampire just shook a finger at her. Kill me and you will never find your friends. Release them, now. No. Loren jerked forward, but Saren rushed up instead. Why not? Why did you capture them in the first place? Because they disturbed our solitude. Their invasive snooping was most rude. So they'll be punished. You haven't killed them yet, so you must have something in mind for them. Well done. Yes, you are most clever. Zachary began to pace. As much as I enjoy my solitude here, I am unfortunately bound to this castle as well. I cannot leave it, nor can my wife, Valerie. But you see, it is our 300th anniversary soon, and my simple gifts will not do. You are trying my patience. What is the rush? Our sisters, where are they? They are safe, but hidden. What did you plan on using them for? As gifts for my dearest love. Amazons are not gifts. If you want your friends back, then you must get me something better. Something that Valerie will cherish for the millennia to come. That sounds like a deal we'd be interested in accepting. So long as we're not trading lives for more lives. No, I will let you mortals have your sacredness of life, if you so want it. I will ask for something material in return. Spit it out, vampire. I believe my love will appreciate a beautiful gem. A diamond, unlike any other. A precious stone, the best are found in dwarven mines. Yes, I want the highest quality diamond you can muster from the Hammerhand's mines. No one just gets to walk into a dwarven mine and pick out their best rock. You're asking a big deal. It's your choice if the lives of your friends aren't a big deal enough as well. We cannot find our sisters. We must do as he says. He's our only hope for their release. Why can we not just kill him? Loren looked to Saren for advice. Retrieve the diamond? Mistress, if you truly wish for the prisoner's safety, then you should do as he asks. Loren frowned deeply and put away her swords. I hate vampires and I hate you, but I will get you your diamond. Stupendous. I will try to ask my house guests to not feast on you when you return, but they're a bit rebellious by nature. We'll see how you fare. Farewell, etc. Retrieve the biggest diamond from the dwarven mines. Wow, so we're not we're in endgame, but there's still a lot to do, which is very cool. They trekked out of the castle far more easily than they had entered. Their hearts were low, but they were also tired. If they had confronted the vampires directly, they would have had more battles on their hands. We'll have to try to convince the miners and Hammerhands to part with one of their gems. It won't be easy, I can tell you that right now. We'll do what we must to save those women's lives. Epic game, man. Very cool. How long have we been playing? 48 minutes. It just flies by. Want to thank you guys for joining me as always. I hope you'll stick with me as we continue through Endgame and do all the companion quests, which is going to take a long time, which is very cool. And then we'll head to chapter 4 after that. But hope you enjoyed. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate you guys. Much love, peace, and joy. Take care. And next time we head to the Hammerhand's mines to find a diamond. And then after that, if we have time in the episode, we go to the Orcish Wastes to find a Death Knight. Awesome. See you guys then.